Today has been a mad day at Manchester United. The Dan Ashworth deal is done. They're now appointing Vivell. They're set to announce Vivell and René Hacke. They're closing in on De Ligt, offering contracts, about to make an Ugarte bid. McTominay may be sold. Lindelof may be sold. There's also advancements on the Zirkzee deal, and apparently he wants Man United. It's going crazy. So you know what? We're bringing back the 10-min transfer roundup. Last summer, I did something called the 10-min late night transfer roundup, where on days where there was lots of news coming out from credible outlets and lots of relevant news, I did a 10-minute video that usually came out late in the evening, summarizing all the news that's come out throughout the day to round it all up. And today is your 10-minute roundup. And we're going to start with this first story, which has only just come in on Christopher Vivell, which is just another shock done deal out of nowhere. And I said in my live stream earlier that I believe Man United were going to bring in someone else for recruitment on top of Ashworth. We were saying it's going to be Ashworth, Berardi, Wilcox, and they'll probably likely bring someone else in on recruitment. That's been spoken about for a while. And that guy is going to be none other than the RB club's recruitment man, Christopher Vivell. Manchester United are working to appoint Christopher Vivell on an initial short-term basis to help with the summer transfer window and will lend expertise around talent ID and player recruitment. Christopher Vivell will bring knowledge of operating in a multi-club model to Manchester United, which the club's new hierarchy is expected to explore going forward. He'll report to Berardi. So Vivell worked at the RB clubs, one of the students of Ralf Rangnick, which is interesting. Could have kept Ralf Rangnick in a consultancy role. We didn't. But he's doing a great job, Austria, isn't he? He's coming into United on a short-term basis. Now, I think this is a short-term basis. See how it works. See who else is out there. See how it does. Potentially, he could stay for longer, but he looks like he's going to be here for at least a year, helping United in the summer and January window. The fact that he's here a year would suggest that they may do business in the January window, which we never seem to do anymore. And he's going to come in. He'll probably help with talent ID, young players recruitment, but also just general recruitment inside Manchester United, which needs to improve because I feel like we go for so many obvious names and miss out on so many gems out there. So having someone like Vivell coming in is great. He worked at obviously the RB clubs. It was said by German sources that Christian Vivell to Man United as the new director of recruitment is a done deal. He will join with immediate effect. All that's missing is Vivell's work permit. He will join United on a short-term contract and help with transfers in the next two windows. So that was again confirmed by sources in Germany. But if we actually dive into this with a little bit more detail, who did he oversee? He oversaw the signing of Erling Haaland to RB Salzburg, Adeyemi, Benjamin Sesko, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Amadou Hadera. So a lot of key players from the RB clubs. He was massive in bringing them in, particularly the ones at RB Salzburg. He's obviously one of those people that's worked with Rangnick, and one thing we know about Rangnick is that his talent ID is very good, and he is one of those students of Ralf Rangnick. So for me, that's really important because we always know that Dan Ashworth isn't necessarily a recruitment guy. Dan Ashworth's coming in for brilliant reasons. Dan Ashworth's coming to oversee structure at United to implement the right people in place for recruitment, this and that. Maybe this is the Dan Ashworth signing. Maybe now Dan Ashworth's in. This is Dan Ashworth's first official signing to report to him, to report to Omar Berardi. Because we spoke about Dan Ashworth likes to reset the environment and put the structures in place that's going to benefit the club for footballing reasons. You know, Dan Ashworth may have said, okay, let's get that recruitment guy in because I'm not a recruitment specialist. We're going to get a recruitment specialist in just so to add to our knowledge to help United. Dan Ashworth will be doing stuff to help the recruitment. He'll be doing stuff to help the youth. He'll be doing stuff to help the sports science department, the women's team, you name it. He's going to be putting loads of elements in place. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is someone that Dan Ashworth said, you know, let's get this going for a year. Obviously, working at the RB clubs, he's worked in a multi-sport network, which obviously is what Ineos is. So as well, that's probably another reason why Ineos recruited him. But let's quickly talk about Dan Ashworth, and then we're going to get into some transfer news. So what is the latest on Dan Ashworth? Newcastle United accepted an offer of significantly less than 10 million from Manchester United for Dan Ashworth in the 11-hour talks before last night's PSR deadline. And I always said I have a feeling that United could do something last minute with Newcastle desperately needing to balance PSR. Now, I'm hearing it was a deal worth 4.5 million from other sources, but no one's really disclosing the fee. Roman has confirmed it's official, it's done, and Man United and Newcastle have put out a statement. Newcastle and Manchester United have reached an agreement for the immediate release of Dan Ashworth from his contractual obligations at Newcastle United. The terms of this agreement remain confidential between the clubs. Newcastle United thank Dan for his services and wishes him well in future. Now, I'm hearing that it's around £4 million, but it's under 10 million. It was probably that little bit extra to help Newcastle with PSR. And yeah, that's a done deal. Dan Ashworth is released, and we spoke about it for 20 minutes on my live stream earlier. So go check out my live stream this morning where I speak about Dan Ashworth, where we spoke about for 20 minutes, like what a good job he's done at all the clubs he's been at and why this is, for me, signing of the summer for Man United and why Dan Ashworth's such a good deal. I don't want this video to drag, so we're going to get into the next story, which is Omar Berardi is the CEO. Dan Ashworth is the sporting director, Wilcox is the technical director, Vivell is the recruitment director, Erik ten Hag is the head coach, Ruud van Nistelrooy and René Hackey are assistants for Ten Hag. Manchester United are finally building structure, the best-in-class structure. We're creating an environment. And the thing is, you can change the managers all you want, but if you don't change the environment that they operate in, you don't bring the best people in that focus on winning, you only have people around the manager that focus on making money, the manager will never succeed. Now we've got people with philosophies that is winning, that what is doing what's best for the team, doing what's best results-wise, rather than what's doing best for the Glazers' pocket. We've got people with ambition to succeed, people with ambition to win, proven people, the best in class. And that's all you can ask for. Ten Hag, given time, a new contract, coaches he wants, good people around him. Man United are finally acting like a proper club. And, we might not see brilliant results overnight. Next season may be poor. But I think in the long term, it's going to massively pay off. We've been asking for 11 years for this since Sir Alex Ferguson left, since Woodward took over. We've been asking for this ever since the Glazers came in. Proper structure. Now, let's talk about transfer news. Chris Wheeler and the Times Sport both said this. Talks are progressing between De Ligt and Man United, and between Man United and Bayern Munich for Matthijs de Ligt, worth 42 million plus add-ons. So apparently a deal is going to be 42 million plus add-ons. Bayern Munich would be willing to sell de Ligt to Man United if they're prepared to pay 42 million plus add-ons. I don't mind paying 42 million if it's including 5 million add-ons, but that would be 37 million plus 5 million add-ons. But I don't think de Ligt is worth 42 million with add-ons potentially taking it to 50 million. For me, he's not had a good season. Bayern assigned 2 centre-backs. We know they're desperate to sell. He's 5th choice on the list. He's high wages. We may have to compensate in wages. Unless de Ligt's going to agree to significantly lower wages of 170k a week, then fine. But if you let's say we pay 47 million for de Ligt in total, that may only be 13 million less than Branthwaite. But if you add de Ligt's wages on, because Branthwaite agreed 150k a week deal, and let's say de Ligt's on 220k a week at United, but it still takes a wage cut of 30k a week, you would still look at it and de Ligt would cost more over the 5-year package because of his wages than Branthwaite. If we paid Branthwaite for 60 million, that's ahead of de Ligt on our list. So I think we've got to be careful. I think 40 million is a decent deal for de Ligt, but I don't want to spend too much more than 40 million just because he's very injury prone. He's had more injuries than Varane in the last 2 seasons, and we complain about Varane being injury prone and high wages, and that's why he's released. And I know de Ligt's a lot younger than Varane, but he is very, very injury prone as well. And he's off the back of a poor season, whereas Varane, at least when he played, he had a good season. Which brings us into other stories on de Ligt. It was said earlier today that Matthijs de Ligt has received a contract proposal from Manchester United to sign for 5 years. An agreement between de Ligt and de Ligt's entourage and United is expected soon. Ten Hag and de Ligt have already held multiple phone calls. Manchester United and Bayern Munich are now in contract talks about a permanent deal for Matthijs de Ligt. De Ligt is keen to join United and can sign a contract till 2029. Covered this in my live stream earlier, that basically United have offered de Ligt a 5-year deal, and de Ligt is keen to join Man United. He's just waiting for an agreement between Manchester United and Bayern on around a 42 million fee. There's an expectation that de Ligt could be Man United's first signing and be done in a matter of days. Next story is McTominay. There's a feeling that McTominay could leave United, and Fulham are exploring a move for Scott McTominay, and Man United are willing to sell him at the right price. Man United know that McTominay's contract's running out. He's not going to be a regular starter, but he's a good squad player to have. He's on lower wages. He's homegrown. It's pure FFP profit. Man United are in a position where they'd like to sell McTominay for a good price, and Fulham are willing to explore that. Whether McTominay wants to leave Man United for Fulham or not, that's yet to be seen, because apparently McTominay rejected Fulham last summer, and that's why Palhinha then couldn't go to Bayern Munich last summer, because McTominay rejected Fulham. That was what was said. So I don't know if he'll move to Fulham, like Maguire didn't want to move to West Ham, but I think he had a decent season at United, McTominay, and I think he's a great option off the bench, and he's got captain mentality and he works hard. But I do think long term, if we can get 40 million from McTominay and spend that money on Yusuf Fofana or Mats Wiefer, who may cost us less than 30 million, we still have money left over, and we're buying someone that will start for our team. Whereas McTominay is, he's a unique player, but he's always going to be an outlet off the bench. In terms of Ugarte, it was said that positive talks are ongoing between United and PSG for Ugarte, and United may send in their first official offer in the next hours, and that Man United are expected to make a concrete offer for Ugarte as they see Kobbie Mainoo as a more box-to-box option, hence the need for a defensive pick in midfield. Casemiro is expected to depart this summer, is what was said earlier today on Ugarte. I think obviously Ugarte being Copa America, things will advance later on. It was then said on Zirkzee. Now, Zirkzee, I think Ugarte and De Ligt look like it's happening. Zirkzee is the one that's going to be difficult. But it was said by Bologna sporting director that Zirkzee has a release clause and he's 99% going to leave. He had an agreement with AC Milan, but that seems to have stalled, and Man United now seem to be the favourites. Italian sources are coming out saying multiple times, and I've read this one out in the live show earlier, that Zirkzee is increasingly heading towards United. Zirkzee's departure from Bologna is now certain and he's ready to join United. An agreement has been reached between United and the player's agent on the commissions, and the striker has been convinced about his role in the technical project. Erik ten Hag contacted Zirkzee about this deal. Just got literally like attacked by a fly a second ago. But Man United have apparently agreed to deal with Zirkzee's agent. The reason I don't believe this is they're saying we've agreed a deal to pay Zirkzee's agent commission. All the reports that are coming out by Italian news keep saying we're giving Zirkzee's agent commission, which makes me feel like Zirkzee's agent is using United in the news to scare AC Milan to paying him the commission he wants. I don't know. Zirkzee apparently wants United. Zirkzee apparently had talks with Man United and now wants Man United, but he still has that agreement with Milan. And there's no tier one source. There's no David Ornstein. There's no Fabrizio Romano saying, yeah, it's true. There's the agreement there with United. Apparently, Italian sources saying Zirkzee's got an agreement with United. Zirkzee will go to United. United will pay the fee. Cool. Brilliant. Like that Italian sources are saying that. But in my head, you still have to take it with a massive pinch of salt because it's not been said by any tier one sources. I just don't trust Zirkzee's agent. I think he could be using us. So that is the end of today's 11-minute roundup show. Throughout the transfer window, I'm going to be doing Manchester United transfer roundup videos where I round up all the latest news. On busy news days, on news where lots of reliable sources come up with updates, there will be late uploads. So there'll probably be 4 or 5 of these a week throughout the transfer window. So you get to know all the latest news and you're up to date in 10 minutes if you don't have time to watch maybe a 40-minute live show. Hope you enjoy this. Let me know if you want to see more of these kind of videos. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bye.